The Galactic Council chamber was a grand hall of shimmering crystals and undulating light, designed to impress even the most jaded of alien dignitaries. Today, however, the usual hum of polite diplomacy was drowned out by incredulous gasps, heated whispers, and even a few primal shrieks. The cause of the uproar? A grainy holofeed displayed in the center of the room. It showed a human, a representative of one of the newest species, to join the galactic community, sitting cross-legged on a grassy plain. Beside them lay a creature that no sane being would willingly approach, a Vraxen Deathclaw. The beast's 6 razor-sharp limbs twitched idly as it purred. Yes, purred. Under the human's hand, its serrated mandibles clicking in what could only be described as contentment. "This has to be a hoax," roared Counselor Xivok of the Zareth Collective, his crystalline form vibrating with outrage. No one tames a Vraxen Deathclaw. They're apex predators that wiped out entire colonies in the Flera system. "The footage is verified," replied Counselor Shalvek of the Drashneri, her serpentine body coiling in agitation. "Our analysts confirmed it. The human, they call him James Carter, appears to have formed some sort of bond with the creature." Bond? Civek's voice dripped with disbelief. More like a death wish. The human representative to the Galactic Council, Ambassador Maria Lopez, adjusted her translation device and cleared her throat. "If I may," she began, her voice calm but firm. "This isn't entirely unexpected. Humans have a long history of domesticating dangerous creatures on our homeworld. Wolves, for instance, were once deadly predators. Now they're our loyal companions." The council chamber erupted into chaos once more. Counselor Thrikkar of the Voron hive mind clicked their mandibles in rapid succession, a gesture of disbelief. "You're comparing wolves to Vraxen Deathclaws? Preposterous. Wolves are primitive compared to the Deathclaw's adaptive hunting intelligence and unparalleled ferocity. Not to mention their venom," added Counselor Velsha of the Elkari. "One drop can dissolve Durasteel." Lopez raised her hands in a placating gesture. "I understand your concerns, but perhaps we're looking at this the wrong way. Instead of seeing it as a threat, why not view it as an opportunity?" "Opportunity?" Civek's crystalline spikes bristled. "For what?" "Galactic annihilation." Lopez smiled faintly. "For understanding. Humans have a unique knack for forming connections with other species, even ones deemed dangerous. James Carter's bond with a Deathclaw could teach us invaluable lessons about interspecies relationships. Or it could end in disaster," muttered Velsha. Far from the heated debates of the council, James Carter sat in the shade of a massive bioluminescent tree on the planet Vraxos. His companion, whom he'd affectionately named Snuffles, was sprawled beside him, gnawing on the remains of a particularly unlucky herbivore. The Deathclaw's fearsome appearance belied its current behavior. It was practically cuddling him. "You've got a bad reputation, buddy," James said, scratching the creature's armored head. Snuffles rumbled appreciatively, a sound that would have sent most beings running for their lives. James chuckled. "Don't let it get to you. I've been called worse." The bond had started by accident. During a survey mission, James had stumbled into Snuffles' den. Cornered and unarmed, he'd done the only thing he could think of. He'd offered the creature his ration pack. To his surprise, the Deathclaw had sniffed the offering, let out a curious chirp, and devoured it whole. Over the following weeks, James had returned with more food, each visit earning him more trust. By the time his colleagues realized what he was doing, it was too late to stop him. "You're insane," his team leader had said. "That thing's going to eat you alive." But Snuffles hadn't. Instead, the creature had become James' shadow, following him on expeditions and even protecting him from other predators. The scientific community was baffled. The Galactic Council was horrified. And James, he was just happy to have a friend. Back at the council, the debate raged on. "We cannot allow this to continue," Sivak declared. "If the Deathclaw turns on him, it could pose a threat to any inhabited system nearby. Then perhaps we should study the phenomenon instead of fearing it," Shelvek countered. "This could be a breakthrough in our understanding of Vraxan behavior." "You mean weaponizing them?" Velsha accused. Lopez shook her head. "That's not our intent. Humans believe in coexistence. We don't see the galaxy as something to conquer, but as something to understand." James Carter embodies that philosophy. "And if he fails?" Thrikkar interjected, their multiple voices harmonizing into an eerie chorus. "If the Deathclaw reverts to its natural instincts?" Lopez hesitated. She knew there were risks. Humans weren't infallible, and nature was unpredictable. But she also knew that fear had never been humanity's guiding principle. "Then we learn from it," she said finally. "Progress always comes with risks. But if we let fear dictate our actions, we'll never move forward." On Vraxos, James was blissfully unaware of the chaos his actions had unleashed. He was too busy teaching Snuffles how to fetch. Using a sturdy stick, he hurled it across the plain. Snuffles tilted its massive head, emitting a questioning chirp, before bounding after the stick with surprising agility. Moments later, the Deathclaw returned, stick clutched delicately in its venomous mandibles. "Good boy," James cheered, patting Snuffles' head. The creature's purr was so loud it shook the ground. A shadow fell over them, and James looked up to see a sleek council shuttle descending. As it landed, a contingent of heavily armed guards emerged, followed by Ambassador Lopez. "Oh," James muttered. "Looks like I'm in trouble." Lopez approached, her expression a mix of exasperation and admiration. "James," she began, "do you have any idea what kind of uproar you've caused?" He grinned sheepishly. "I've got a hunch. But hey, look at him." He gestured to Snuffles, who was now wagging his massive tail like an overgrown puppy. "He's harmless." "Harmless." Lopes glanced at the guards, who were visibly shaking despite their advanced weaponry. "James, that thing could disembowel a star cruiser." "Only if it's threatened," James replied. "Snuffles here just needed someone to see him as more than a monster." Lopez sighed. "The council's not going to like this." "What else is new?" James said with a laugh. "But maybe they'll come around. Snuffles isn't so bad once you get to know him." As if on cue, the Deathclaw dropped the stick at Lopez's feet, letting out an eager chirp. She stared at it, then at James, and finally at Snuffles. Against her better judgment, she picked up the stick and threw it. Snuffles darted after it, his massive frame surprisingly graceful. Lopez shook her head. "This is either the craziest or the most brilliant thing humanity has ever done." James beamed. "Welcome to the club." Far above, in the Galactic Council chamber, a new debate was beginning. But on Vraxos, under the glow of its bioluminescent trees, a human and a Deathclaw were proving that even the most unlikely bonds could change the galaxy forever.